Education Committee. First of all, on behalf of the California Asian American and Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus, I am proud to join Governor Newsom, the Latino Caucus, and all of my colleagues and everyone from the community who is here today, including our state superintendent, from throughout the state, to stand in solidarity with our immigrant students and families, to defend their civil and human right to an education. For more than 40 years, the United States Supreme Court has recognized that all students, regardless of immigration status, have a right to a public education. And for decades, both Democratic and Republican presidents have kept schools off limits from immigration enforcement because students cannot learn if they are living in fear of getting deported or separated from their families. Unfortunately, in January of this year, Donald Trump reversed this decades-long bipartisan policy of keeping schools off limits from immigration enforcement. To fight back, I introduced Assembly Bill 49, the California Safe Haven Schools Act, to keep ICE out of our schools. And I'm proud to have worked with Senate Majority Leader and Latino Caucus Chair Lina Gonzalez, my colleagues in the Assembly, Liz Ortega, Celeste Rodriguez, Juan Carrillo, and many of us standing before you here today, and of course, including our State Superintendent, Tony Thurmond, to get this bill signed into law. The California Safe Haven Schools Act is a clear message to Donald Trump. Keep ICE out of our schools. Keep ICE out of our schools so that all of our students, regardless of immigration status, can pursue their right to an education. And so it's now my privilege to bring up to the podium Senate Majority Leader, Latino Caucus Chair, State Senator Lina Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I can't tell you how proud I am of this moment. This is a moment truly where you see the worst of the worst happening to our communities, but the most beautiful collaboration and unity happening within the legislature and with our governor, our superintendent of instruction, our local state leaders, all coming together to do one thing: protect our communities here in California. I'm not just a state senator. I'm the proud daughter of an immigrant mother from Aguascalientes, Mexico, a granddaughter of a fierce granddaughter as well, who had the audacity to come to this country for a better life and who dared to beat the odds and lay roots down in Los Angeles and in California. I am like so many of the people that we represent that are just trying to do the same thing, to make a living, to ensure that their families have the same respect and the communities. And their struggle will never be forgotten. In fact, every single day, and I brought this today with me, I bring my grandmother's alien head tax receipt. In the 1920s, she came over from Mexico over to El Paso, Texas. And it reminds me every single day of why I have the privilege of this title, to fight every single day for these communities in everything that we do. And as you'll see, this package of legislation is so profound. And I want to thank the incredible leaders, the Latino Caucus members, all 38 of us that touch every corner of the state of California, the AAPI caucus members, and our diversity caucus members for doing the good work. Specifically, we have Assemblymember Marisucci, who just spoke, and we worked on ensuring that there's a safe haven for schools. We've got SB 81 by Senator Arreguin, healthcare provider entities, and we've got nurses who are here today, too, that will protect hospitals. SB 627 by Senators Wiener, Arreguin, and Perez, who will say no secret police. Why are you wearing a mask? There should be no masks under any circumstances with immigration enforcement. And SB 805 by also Perez and Wiener to ensure that there's no vigilantes. We cannot have masked men coming around picking up our communities without identifying themselves. We've seen this all too clear, myself in Southeast Los Angeles, in which I represent, as well as Long Beach. The militarization of places like Paramount that happened on June 7th. the greenlighting of racial profiling that has been happening all around the state, the kidnapping of students, children, women, many of which are legal residents and U.S. citizens, and the permitting of masked men to pry babies away from their mothers. It's unfathomable. Today, with Governor Newsom's signature and with the unity of the Latino and API caucuses, as well as the diversity caucuses and many of our local elected officials, we will say no more. No more to the racial profiling, no more to just the fact that you might be a worker who is a janitor or a hotel housekeeper. The accent you have should not matter. And we will always remember this time. President Trump, you will go down as the worst president in the history of the United States. You are a racist. And even when you kidnap our children and you separate our families and you denigrate us because of the race, our color of our skin and the accents that we might have, the work that we do, we will still be resilient and fight back. That is the California way. And again, you will always go down as the most racist, horrible president of the United States. But we are resilient. And with that, I want to say thank you to these members here, many of whom are immigrant daughters and sons themselves. Some of them are immigrants themselves too, like our two vice chairs, Assembly members Carrillo and Ortega. And I'm very, very grateful to move this forward. Thank you.
Let me bring up now our remarkable Superintendent of Public Instruction for the state of California, my dear friend, Tony Thurmond.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Senators. Good afternoon. Buenos tardes. Thank you for being here on this important moment. I don't know, Governor, it may have all been said, but I'm certainly proud to be able to add my voice to these incredible leaders who are saying, we are standing up for our immigrant community and the members of our communities, and we will not allow hate and fear to grip them. No one should be afraid to go to school. No one should be afraid to go to a hospital or an emergency room. No one should be afraid in their community that a masked person will just come and snatch them up out of nowhere, unidentified and unannounced. I'm pleased to have been the sponsor and co-sponsor to some of the legislation that you've heard today, like AB 49, a bill that says we can't have ICE on school campuses, and that our data, our students' data, will never be shared with ICE. Thank you, Assembly members Murasuchi and Senator Gonzalez, for your leadership. And pleased to sponsor SB 98, a bill that says that we give notification to families when ICE is in the area. Thank you, Senator Perez, for your leadership. And to the mayor and to Superintendent Carvalho, who are saying that we are standing up for our families in Los Angeles. To friends like David Huerta, who put it all on the line for the families of Los Angeles and for immigrant families everywhere, we say thank you. Thank you to Senator Arguin for bringing forward a bill that says we won't have ICE in our hospitals, and Senators Perez and Wiener for having a bill that says we will not allow for masked men to snatch up immigrant families. Thank you, Supervisor Solis and our Vice Chair of the School Board, Rivas, for all of your leadership. And I'm grateful to be in California. I tell you, I'm not going anywhere else because we have a governor who is courageous and standing up to sign these bills today. It should not come as a surprise to you that our governor signs these bills because he's been a champion for education. My mother came here as an immigrant from Panama, and she taught in our California schools. And she would be proud of what we're doing here in California to protect the 11 million immigrants in our state, to protect the students. 1 out of 5 of our students in this state lives in a family that is a mixed status family. That means they have at least one parent who is undocumented. And as you heard, they have a right constitutionally guaranteed to get an education. It should not surprise you that we have a governor who would sign these bills in education and to protect our community, because we have a governor who has led to bring us preschool for every single 4-year-old in our state, regardless of citizenship status, who's brought us universal meals for every single hungry student, mental health, and programs to build literacy. I'm grateful that he has been a champion for education and for our communities, and that he is standing up for our immigrant communities. Please help me in welcoming the 40th governor of the great state of California, Governor Gavin Newsom.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Thank you. Well, thank you, all of you, all the speakers, everybody that took the time to be here, everyone that inspired this legislation, this call to push back, to meet this moment, and to be accountable. And really the spirit, I think, of these 5 bills that I'll be signing here in a moment are about accountability. Accountability that is long overdue. But let me first try to set a scene. It's one very familiar to many of you, but not necessarily to some folks that may be watching from other parts of the country. We're here in Los Angeles, the most diverse city in the most diverse state, California, in the world's most diverse democracy. It is a point of pride. We are a majority-minority state, California. At our best, we don't tolerate that diversity. At our best, we celebrate that diversity. We're a universal state. 27% of Californians are foreign-born. You heard the superintendent talk about all of the mixed status families. Our status is unique in the United States of America. It's what makes California great. It's what makes America great. And it's under assault by this administration. There's a word that you've never heard uttered from the President of the United States' lips, certainly not Stephen Miller, and that's pluralism. We practice pluralism. It's a deep point of pride. Those values are under assault to a degree we could have never imagined. For those of you here in Los Angeles, you deeply absorb this, you deeply understand this. You saw your streets militarized. You saw the President of the United States, who in his first term never sent the military anywhere, not overseas, nowhere. In his second term, he sent the United States Marines, active duty Marines, to the city of Los Angeles. He federalized 4,000 of our National Guard. We said at the time it was a preview of things to come. Folks thought that was hyperbolic. They thought we were overstating it. Ask the folks in Washington, D.C., ask the folks other states like Illinois and what's about to happen in Memphis. We announced just a few weeks ago that we were standing up and pushing back as it relates to the rigging of elections. We were at the Democracy Center in Little Tokyo, the sacred site where we were interning and busing the Japanese. That shameful part of our past. And what did the administration do? What did Stephen Miller do? What did Donald Trump do? They sent masked men to intimidate folks from walking in to that event. Masked men. Poor soul that happened to be in the area, delivery guy delivering strawberries, was detained because he just happened to be in the area. Collateral damage. Disappeared. These masked men had no identification. These masked men did not provide any information, name, badge number, hidden from accountability, any transparency, any oversight. That's Trump's America, but it is not the America we've grown up in. And so we're pushing back against this. For so many of you in Los Angeles, we talk about authoritarianism. Some think we're being hyperbolic. Depends the lens you see the world. Which set of eyes? For someone like me, I may not be experiencing it, but for many folks you see behind me, they have experienced it. There was a young man who was here as an advisor to the superintendent we just met with. He says, you don't need to touch the flame to feel the burn. The impact of these policies all across this city, our state, and nation are terrifying. It's like a dystopian sci-fi movie. Unmarked cars, people en masse, people quite literally disappearing, no due process, no rights in a democracy where we have rights. Immigrants have rights. And we have the right to stand up and push back. And that's what we're doing here today. This is a disgrace. This is an outrage. what we have allowed to happen in this country. And I could not be more proud of this legislature, the legislative authors, to the community demanding more from all of us at this moment to push back. I'll be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. To ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? If you're going to go out and you're going to do enforcement, provide an ID. Tell us which agency you represent. Provide us basic information that all local law enforcement is required to provide. Have the decency not to threaten people as they go to school, to go out in the parking lots proximate to these schools to create chill, packed attendance. We talked to these kids. They were saying, one of you said, I've got friends, they don't go on the metro anymore. It's a public space. So your superintendent had the decency, foresight, and leadership to provide transportation. That's Trump's America. Hospitals. You talk about health infrastructure. You talk about community health. People scared to death to even access a community clinic for preventative medicine, worried that somehow they're going to be turned in, or someone without identification, looking like anyone else with a mask on, may just jump out of a car and they may disappear. So I want to thank the legislative leaders for asserting themselves and providing me the privilege, the ability to sign these laws, pushing back at this moment. I thought Jon Stewart said it best. This is not about the pronoun police. This is about the secret police. We're not North Korea, Mr. President. We're not the Soviet Union. This is the United States of America. And I'm really proud of the state of California and our state of mind that we're pushing back against these authoritarian tendencies and actions of this administration. ICE is now the largest private police force in the United States of America. And I say private because increasingly it appears to many of us that they have sworn an oath to Donald Trump, not the Constitution. A private police force whose ranks are going to grow by some 10,000, dwarfing the FBI and DEA. Only comparable staffing and investments are military operations around the globe. That's what Congress, the supine leadership in Congress, provided, along with the supine members of the Supreme Court that have allowed racial profiling on the basis of accent, basis of location, and skin color. This is not America. And so we are pushing back firmly. We're pushing back using not just our formal authority, but perhaps the most important authority, and that's our moral authority. So thank you to the members of the legislature. Thank you to the authors of these bills. And it's my honor now to sign into law 4 pieces of legislation that go in effect immediately upon signature, and 1 on the masking that will formally go into effect January of 2026. With that, let's sign these. All right. AB.
Right here.
You're right here. Okay, you already said it. All right. It's AB 49. It's just signing the law. Thank you. SB 81. SB 98. And SB 805. And SB 627, the anti-masking law. Thank you. Thank you, Federal Law. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you. We're happy to take any questions in just a moment as we all reconvene. Thank you.